Hi everyone, Air here. Ooh, I did something that I never thought I would, pretty much ever. It hit me strangely, but I watched the Martha Stewart documentary last night. And I'll be honest with you, Martha Stewart seems like someone that is from past times, but I love culture and seeing how the influence of culture go throughout the times, especially with feminine energy. And she is known as the original influencer. So with that, I kind of wanted to like peek behind the curtain. I watched it last night while my partner was out of town and I got my tea. I basically was looking at every floral arrangement I have around the house and seeing how perfect it is and just wanted to dive in here because as I was watching the show, there was a lot of things that struck me as odd with her, but also a lot of hidden truths that I was like, huh, she really got it right. And people may not like this, but she's very authentic on how she displays herself. And yes, I watched it all the way through with the insider trading. I saw it through how she did these magnificent gardens, which as a horticulturalist, I love gardening. And as an herbalist, I love bringing those things to the kitchen. So you would think that I would have known more about Martha Stewart a long time ago, but here we are. Nonetheless, this is the Black Cat Energy Podcast. If you're just now tuning in and this is your first episode and you are a Martha fan, apologies, but this is not a Martha show. This is a show that really gets into how to harness the Black Cat energy to be able to attract whatever you want, to be able to not have to work so hard because people are working for you. There's a lot of psychology in this, but also a lot of healing and a lot of development of personal growth for your self-concept. If you are getting that man to maybe start treating you better, or you're trying to land that dream job, or you're an entrepreneur looking to grow your business, this is how you do it in your feminine nature. This is how you don't burn out. This is how you get him to just, give you complete princess treatment, and also how you start to see yourself so much better. You actually develop your own self-esteem, your own confidence, your own just rally of energy behind you. And you can be magnetic. You can put that out into the world to conquer anything you like. Okay. So Martha Stewart actually has a lot of Black Cat energy. Like, wow. She has a lot of Black Cat energy and possessing it. And she's just very much someone that you don't see as soft, even though she looks very soft. She looks very light feminine. And I think that's kind of something that she has going for her is she grew up as a model. She grew up in a big family and she has this kind of sweet country girl going on with her aesthetically. But on the inside, she is a bit ruthless and she is the type of woman that can really get things done. And that does have some quality to it. That does have a lot of power behind it. So her looks don't match what she is on the inside. And she really learned how to marry these concepts to achieve what she wants, to get what she wants. So she did that through, first and foremost, a lot of confidence and independence. And if you think back to Black Cats, they're not here purring in your lap 24/7. They're doing their own thing. They're accomplishing their own goals and they're not afraid to get it wrong. In fact, like when I watch Black Cats or just cats in general interact, they'll make a mistake and they'll act like it never happened. Like they will turn around and be like, you know, it was what's wrong, not me, which does have a little bit of like unaccountability to it, but that's on the cats, not on us. But nonetheless, having confidence and independence is so attractive. And Martha really carries this strong sense of like self-assurance, and she breaks a lot of boundaries and setting like trends in the culinary and lifestyle industries. Like she took what was commonly known as like, here's a meal, and she made it extravagant, and she attracted people to her home through her gardens. She didn't necessarily go out whenever she was developing her catering business and say like, choose me, choose me, choose me. No, she was just like, I'm going to create perfection, her own words, and people are going to want to be around me. People are going to want to come to my house, my parties, my garden. And that is very Black Cat. It's not chasing, it is attracting. And then she does also have this mysterious charm to her. She's someone that I believe that you could sit next to and talk to all day long and still not know a lot about her. She does carry this kind of emotional distance to her. And if that's something that she just portrays as a character, or she portrays to be able to protect her privacy, then power to her, because you don't owe anybody anything. And a lot of people think that if you're going to be loved and if you're going to be in fame or you're going to be popular, you have to give it to everybody. And that's not the case. Like, you really don't owe anybody anything. And if you being yourself and like a little bit more reserved and only giving those special parts to people that have earned it, that is attractive. And you can become very popular or very famous with that energy. So her kind of multifaceted personality and diverse interest can carry like an air of intrigue, right? Like, she has this enigmatic nature that is keeping the audience and like her fans and even people like me that didn't even necessarily know who Martha Stewart really was, just engaged. And all eyes go to you. Like, that is Black Cat energy. Like, you can be attractive, and even people that don't necessarily agree with you will be attracted to you. Even people that hate you. A lot of people hate this woman, and I couldn't really figure out throughout the documentary why they hated her. And that could have just been like the artistic direction of like they were really protecting that. But it seems like her really like strong opinions and how confrontational she was willing to be is what made people hate her, going against the grain, choosing a different path. So I don't know much about why people chose to hate her. Feel free to put that in the comments and like share more. But what I was able just to gather on the documentary was, okay, she may or may not have been involved with this, back like insider trading, or it may be that she was just a really mean boss and like a mean person to be like as a CEO. But I couldn't find anything that she did that was just like outlandish and made her like evil, or made her to where like people were treating her like the tyrant or like a dictator. But again, I don't know. So if you know more about that, feel free to put it in the comments. But I'm going based off of what I was able just to gather in this documentary. And it was about 2-hour documentary. So going into a little bit more of that feminine nature, is she was super creative and she was very resourceful. Like, Black Cats, as part of their independence, will go out and like find the resources they need. They'll go and meet the people. They won't be afraid to get it wrong. And a lot of women don't realize this because we are default like afraid of rejection, but rejection is part of life, and rejection is redirection. And if you really just can harness that mysterious Black Cat and just know that you are enough and that what you have is valuable, you can pitch that all day long. And even if everybody says like no, it may not be like no, they don't like you. It may be like no, they can't afford you. No, they don't have the same vision as you. Or no, they're just not capable of seeing things the way that you see it. Nonetheless, like, carrying that and being resourceful and being able to be like, no, that's also not for me, is powerful. It is magnetic. Okay. Next, elegance and sophistication. So there is something about Martha's look that makes you feel like fairy tale. It makes you feel like that is as good as it gets, like that is perfection. And I think that goes back to her attention to detail and how she isn't going to take anything as like face value. She takes it, puts it into her aura, into her magnetic field, and she creates something. And that is feminine energy. Feminine energy is when you give something to a woman and she's able to multiply it. So, for instance, in relationships, when a man is giving you chaos, he's making you feel like insecure, he's like maybe even betraying you in one type of way or mixed signals. Like women tend to go a little bit that crazy because they take all of that chaotic energy and they multiply it and they make more chaos. One reason that my relationship works very well is that he kind of creates me this heaven. And in this heaven, I'm able to be angelic. I'm able to feel free. I'm able to relax and be peaceful. And in return, that's exactly what I multiply and give back to him. I take care of him in a way that he feels nurtured and he feels cared for and he feels supported and loved and respected. And that type of multitude is feminine energy. So if you are in a toxic relationship and it's just getting worse and worse and worse, and you can't stop the spiral, that's why it's always multiplying with the woman. Okay. Last but not least was her like fearlessness in reinvention. This woman got burned to ashes. Like, and I know how that feels. Like, I've had that chapter in my life where everything was just completely destroyed as far as my identity. And I was actually put in this place where I had to rebuild from scratch. And this is what happened with Martha whenever she was sentenced to prison for that 5 months. And she had to like really come out of that and figure out how she wanted to share her narrative. She could have been the victim and like she could have, spent the rest of her life trying to talk about insider trading and how she didn't make this mistake and how this is such a flawed system. But no, she just kind of took that, went on a roast with like Justin Bieber and Snoop Dogg and these other creatives, and she really like was able to born or bring about like Martha Stewart 2.0. And in that I know how I want to announce it. This kind of Phoenix era, or that she's like being rebirth. There we go. Rebirth into this beautiful Phoenix. She decided she's like, I'm going to do things different. And she did have that talk show. It's not like she really didn't like it, but I really loved how she blended her creativity with Snoop Dogg's creativity and created something altogether new. And that is what women do. That is feminine energy, is we kind of can take these pieces, even if they're broken, and craft them together and create something that is still beautiful. We do that all the time. We take a lot of broken pieces and we heal. Women are very healing. So altogether, I was kind of impressed that she was able to reinvent herself. Even this documentary itself was a reinvention of who she is choosing to be in this chapter of her life. So did I find her a little bit cold, a little bit shadowy? Yes, I did. But that is kind of what goes along with the black cat. It's not the furry, like fluffy white cat that's purring in your lap. Like this cat has things to do. This cat has things that it wants to go accomplish and is still super attractive and very much something that is going to make people want to pay attention and get involved with. So that was a spur of a moment episode, but I found that so powerful. And I also want to do one on Kamala Harris and why she didn't win the election and what she could have done with her feminine energy to win the election. So go ahead and give this a follow or subscribe, rate it 5 stars. That helps because this is really taking off. And I love this. I love getting all the comments about Black Cat energy, how to manifest, how to become more attractive, how to fix your relationships. I'm here for it. So until then, kitties.